Okay, it's time for round 3 of Phenac Stadium, and this one's going to be kind of significant because we're going to win a pretty useful TM from this. Well, useful for my team, at least. And hey, I'm finally giving Feraligatr some attention, that's good. I was worried that I'd never use it here. So, time to give it our best shot and go for victory, like the receptionist says. This one's probably going to be just as easy as the others, but I still want to show all of them, so after the 4 rounds, I'm pretty sure that's all you can do at the Phenac Stadium, and that's all I end up, well, I mean, that's all I can really show. I think I do end up beating all of the optional Colosseum battles in this playthrough, so I'll be doing them at various points throughout the series, but I'll be doing Pyrite way later, because that one actually does allow Shadow Pokemon, but the levels there are the low 50s to the mid 50s, and that's definitely not, take-onable is the term I came up with in my head just then, at this point in the game. Oh look, you have a Skitty, yay. But yeah, I do like how they sort of, like, the character of each town, you can tell from the way they handle the stadium battles. Like in Phenac City, how they don't allow Shadow Pokemon, while in Pyrite they do. But anyway, here's a Remoraid that's actually double the level of mine. And yay, nice flinch. Also, here, double. I guess we can pull an annoying double bite strategy to go for double the chance to flinch here, if you wanted to. I wonder if we'll find out what the secondary effect of Secret Power is in Phenac Stadium, because usually, well, it's lowered defense, we just found out. Kind of ironic that Umbreon would get affected by that, seeing as he's the one who actually uses Secret Power on my team. But yeah, that was the case, I think, in Pokemon Battle Revolution as well. Every Colosseum or Stadium had its own... Just realized this place is Phenac Stadium, technically, not Phenac Colosseum, but yeah. And I just powered up the enemy, but that's fine, that Remoraid won't be lasting much longer. But yeah, every stadium has its own secondary effect for Secret Power, and I think Nature Power as well. Also Camouflage. Camouflage I don't think was in this generation. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in this generation. But that also changed you into a different type depending on what stadium you're in. At least in Battle Revolution it does. In this game I'm not sure. Well, I mean, again, I don't think Camouflage is even in this game. I actually do wonder what Nature Power turns into in every stadium in this game. Or even every location in this game. Probably does have a direct set of things that are also nice. Granted, since Skitty was the only thing on the field, it wasn't getting its damage reduced there, so... Kinda understandable it did that much, but still. You'll be seeing a lot of Rain Dance Surfs in the parts coming up. Especially Rain Dance Helping Hand boosted Surfs, those are always fun. And you're not hurting your partner with them, so boosting with Helping Hand has pretty much no drawbacks other than giving up the turn of whoever used Helping Hand. Anyway, Battle 2. Let's see what we got here. Oh, look, it's a fun old man. Another one of my favorite trainer classes in this game. Doing a little dance. Val. For some reason that sounds like it could be the name of a generic boss in a Fire Emblem chapter. Spheal and Machop. Okay, that's actually not the best matchup for Umbreon. Probably should bring Espeon to deal with that. I'd probably also like Kickface to deal with that Spheal. But anyway, we are gradually leveling up a little bit. Let's see what I end up doing, as I frantically think of things to talk about in this part. At this point, I'm not sure if I was doing the commentary live with the videos, I might consider speeding these parts up, but the thing is, speeding up video footage and doing post-commentary is kind of impossible because I'm just watching these, like, as in the actual video files. I can't really do post-commentary. Well, I guess I could do post-commentary while the files are in my editor, but that'd be much harder to sync up, I guess, maybe. Anyway, I have to think about how I could possibly do commentary if I was speeding things up. But I will say, though, I actually really don't like speeding up footage of Pokemon battles. Like, I actually consider it kind of insulting. It's kind of weird, because I know that when I was doing Persona 3, I would cut out battles against enemies that I'd already fought before, but I feel like in Pokemon, every battle is usually unique. Now, wild Pokemon battles in a game that had wild battles, I probably would cut out if they were getting redundant, but every trainer battle in a Pokemon game is usually fairly unique in the kind of things you see, so personally, I don't like cutting out or speeding up battles, especially ones that are forced by the main story. I mean, I guess... Should probably watch out for that Cycling Toss, because Feraligatr is now in KO range of that. Actually, wait, I just talked about something that I probably shouldn't be talking about just yet, so I'm going to cut that out because spoilers. But yeah, that's just the thing with me. It's also I don't know, like, I'm okay with longer videos. There are some YouTubers who just like to keep their videos in bite-sized chunks, I don't know, but I'm okay with longer videos, usually. And I hope my viewers are too. But anyway, that's just explaining why I generally don't like to speed out or cut out battles in Pokemon games. It is going to result in these videos being a lot longer than, I guess, many other Colosseum playthroughs, but I'm fine with that. Like I said, I'm okay with longer videos, and I hope that my viewers are too. So that was Battle 2, so now it's time for Battle 3. I really wish I could talk about that thing that I can't because spoilers. I'll talk about how I handle that once I get there. We're approaching the point where I can talk about it, but that's going to be the next main story instance. Basically, I have a lot of footage that I recorded for a kind of a secondary thing, and I really don't think that I'll be showing all of it. Wait a minute. Okay, there's no Y in that, but Athlete Amia? I am the bone of my sword. Or should I say Honedge, maybe, even though Honedge didn't exist at this point. And this music is still amazing, but you probably know that by now. And this battle looks like it's going to fall very easily to Surf, so this one shouldn't take too long. Except that Wooper could potentially have Water Absorb. And it did, okay, so I need to make sure to not use water moves on it once it's alone. But I was really more concerned about the Sandshrew. Or, dare I say it, the Sandshrew! Again, that's probably horrible, but I keep thinking about that episode, the AJ's Gym episode from the early Gen 1 anime. I forget exactly when that episode happened. I know that it was a filler episode, but it was after... I think it was after the first gym. Because I know the one with the samurai was the first filler episode in the show. Actually, wait, no, technically that wasn't filler, because Metapod evolved in that episode. So, obviously wasn't. No, that was it. The samurai was the first ever character of the day, as in a character who only ever appeared in one episode and was never mentioned again. But after this Sandshrew pops out of the ground, it should hopefully fall pretty quickly. This was a very, very easy battle. See, these battles tend to go reasonably quickly, even without speeding them up or cutting them out. So, goodbye, Sandshrew. I always have kind of liked Sandslash, but, though I'm not really sure how I feel about Alolan Sandslash. In theory, it's really good with Slush Rush. The problem is, Ice Steel is not a very good typing defense-wise, and it is very, very predictable, especially if you're running it in doubles. You'll basically always lead with it in Alolan Ninetales, and it's very easy. Doesn't help that it's, yeah, it's double weak to a few forms of priority, which is also annoying. Oh, wow, okay, that's a trainer class that we haven't seen before. We have Teachers. You mostly see these in the area that I can't talk about yet because spoilers. I don't think you ever have to fight any of these during the main game. Clamperl, and now we have the final Hoenn starter, Torchic, so I wonder what the fourth champion will use. But yeah, once again, there is Clamperl. Pokemon that I have actually seen used a few times on Trick Room teams, which is a rare honor for a not fully evolved Pokemon. Setting up the rain might affect that Clamperl, but I doubt that it's holding a Deep Sea Tooth, and without that, Clamperl's not really much of a threat. Okay, I guess I just went for the Confuse Ray, going for a full setup turn this time. And now those areas of water at the side of the stadium are going to get even more flooded. Let's see if this Confuse Ray actually does anything. Kind of wonder what Torchic's going to do. Probably just Scratch. I was going to suggest Peck, but Scratches, I was about to say good too, but Scratch is not good. The sound effect for rain is pretty dramatic. It actually goes on for a little while after the animation's finished. So, let's see. Clamperl, I think, has very bad special defense. This Surf might hit pretty hard. Now, I know this Torchic is almost certainly going to fall to this. Oh, that didn't hit hard at all. Oh, hey, Torchic didn't fall to that. Guess blame the damage splitting. Okay, so they both live to fight another day. Ember! In rain! Well, at least you were smart enough not to attack for Alligator with that. I'm gonna get burned, aren't I? I just kind of know it. Oh, didn't get burned, okay. Oh, okay, now you have powered up Surfs. But again, since you don't have Deep Sea Tooth, this is probably not going to hit very hard. That did a little bit more than I expected. But yeah, we're both kind of tanky. Well, for Alligator, more tanky thanks to the resistance than anything else. Yeah, for Alligator got pretty good in Gen 4, but here it's still decent. It's just, it'd like more physical moves to work with its better attacking stat. Well, Torchic's gone now. I do kind of like Torchic, though. Of course, Blaziken was the first ever starter to end up getting banned from OU thanks to Speed Boost being completely ridiculous. Speed Boost has multiple purposes, too. It's not just for sweeping. You can also baton pass. Okay, so here's a weird thing. I always used to pronounce it baton pass. That's always what I used to call it. So it feels really unnatural for me to call it baton pass. So if I end up slipping up and saying baton pass later on, it's because of that. I mean, I don't know if that's even a valid, if baton is a valid pronunciation for it or not, but it was to me. But anyway, after Clamperl went down, that was fairly easy. So, that may have been the fastest champion fight in this arena so far. So, that'll be round 4 down. We're actually getting towards some more level ups. Speaking of for Alligator, I still find it really weird. Nice pun on what we do this game. But yeah, I always found it really weird how in the original Gold and Silver, not Crystal, they fixed it in Crystal, but in Gold and Silver, for Alligator was green. There are a lot of weird colouring errors in that game. Now, for that we get TM19, which is, surprise, surprise, not a weather move. It's actually Giga Drain. This is actually one of the best moves that Jumpluff can hope to have, especially at this point in the game, so I might as well teach it. Giga Drain got buffed in later generations to have 70 power and much more PP. Here it only has 5 PP, which is really terrible for what was, I'm not kidding, the best non-exclusive grass move in this generation. Solar Beam required Sunny Day support, and Leaf Blade was the only other move that was better, but only Sceptile got that. Obviously, better that we get rid of Mega Drain here, because Giga Drain's just a better version of it, except in contests, they have weirdly different effects in contests. I think that was what Past Me was obsessing over with flipping back and forth between them. For some reason, Mega Drain startles more. Another reason why I don't like 4th gen contests is that they remove startling. Like, they just removed a lot of the... See, that's another reason why it wasn't so much me really hating the dress-up and the dance components, but it was also the fact that they really dumbed down the appeals round a lot. By removing startling, nervousness, condition, a lot of the deeper mechanics of it. They did add the 3-judge system, but that added even more luck to the game, because you had no idea who the AI opponents would choose to target. So anyway, it's time for round 4 of Phenac Stadium. Let's go. Yeah, you're probably tired of me ranting about how much I don't like Gen 4. I will say, though, that... Yeah, I probably like the Poffin-making minigame better than the Berry Blender. I'm just forgetting, didn't they remove the Berry Blender entirely from Auras, and it just gives you the Pokeblocks outright? I mean, the Berry Blender was kind of dumb, but it was still, admittedly, doing something to get Pokeblocks. Wow, Goldeen and Wurmple, really? But, yeah, I always found that kind of annoying. One thing that was always fun back in the original Gen 3 games was those times that the Blend Master appeared in the contest hall, because he was basically, you'd play with 4 AI people in the Berry Blender minigame, and the Blend Master would always get the rhythm perfect every single time, so towards the end the spinner would go so fast, it was better for you to not do anything at all, because you'd always just hit a fail and slow down the spinner. But that was pretty funny, just seeing how fast the spinner could get with the Blend Master blending. And you'd usually get gold Pokeblocks out of that too, so that was pretty cool. But anyway, love how Jump Off just flies back and then floats slowly forward every time it gets his. And Wurmple is as not good as always. The early game bugs got a bit better in later generations because a lot of them got Bug Bite added to their move pool. Oh hey, I almost said Slingshot, I almost said Swing Shot, this is not Ratchet and Clank. No, String Shot hits both opponents in Double Battle, which is kind of interesting, but Icy Wind is better because it does the same thing but actually does damage. I mean, as far as all of the early game, like, Caterpillar-like Pokemon, Wurmple's probably the strongest. That's not saying much, but it probably is. I still find it weird how Team Galactic specialized in the Wurmple line. Didn't really make sense considering the space theme. Oh yeah, finally trying out Giga Drain. Yeah, this is draining a lot more health. Doesn't help the Goldine's weak to it though. Speaking of Goldeen, I always found it really weird how... Sorry. Wow. I forgot what your intro quote was, so that was a bit out of context, but that's still a pretty big burn on yourself. But anyway, I always found it weird how Smash Brothers used Goldeen as the obligatory useless Pokemon from Pokeballs that does nothing. Why not Magikarp? Magikarp would have fit that so much better. I guess they're referencing the anime where Goldeen sometimes gets sent out and then just flops and does nothing because it's non-water, but... it was always annoying to me how Smash Brothers always seemed to take more from the anime when it came to Pokemon representation than it did from the actual games. But, anyway. I still wish they used Magikarp for that. Although, admittedly, it did end up turning into an unintentional Twitch Plays Pokemon reference when, later on, the Master Ball could summon random legendary Pokemon or Goldeen, which was funny because Twitch Plays Pokemon accidentally used their Master Ball on a Goldeen. It probably wasn't an intentional reference, but it's still funny. Apparently Twitch Plays Pokemon is still going, but they just never really hit the same success they did after the first one. Like, the first one was great because it's something that had never really been done before, but I guess the Gold and Silver one was pretty good, but I don't know. I always found the storylines that people came up with them to be pretty weird. But anyway, Bagon and Swablu, a dragon and, you know, okay, this is actually kind of funny. So we've got a dragon who wants to become a flying type and will in the future, and a flying type who will become a dragon type in the future. Anyway, let's just break through this fight. It should be relatively easy. I remember back in Gen 3, Bagon was a Pokemon that kind of eluded me for a while because it only appears in one room. It's in Meteor Falls, but it's only in one very specific room. I forget whether Oras is the same. Oras is probably the same for it. There's this one very small room in Meteor Falls that's the one place where you find Bagon. It was kind of like in Diamond and Pearl, how Gible could only be found in a very specific part of... okay, Synchronize, yes, nice. Could only be found in a very specific part of whatever that cave with Mirror in it was called. Lost Cave or something like that? The one that had a secret entrance under Cycling Road. I mean, it's kind of interesting because how, like, in competitive play where none of this matters, some Pokemon like Salamence and Garchomp are kind of overpowered, but in the main storyline, I guess they're meant to be balanced around the fact that they're quite hard to find, so players are rewarded for actually finding them with a really strong Pokemon. So yeah, that's, I guess, part of the reason why I guess competitive Pokemon has never really been all that balanced, because usually Pokemon are, I mean, in-game often doesn't have that much balance anyway, but usually Pokemon in-game are balanced either by how rare they are or how long they take to evolve. And none of that matters in competitive play because everything's just all pre-trained and at the same level anyway. I mean, as far as balance goes, though, yeah, Gen 1 X accuracy. I guess that's something that I could talk about here. Something that actually kind of does bug me a bit. This is a really off-topic thing, but I suppose there's nothing really better for me to talk about at this point. Is that a lot of people keep talking about how, oh, the Pokemon game's getting just so much easier all the time. It was just, oh, the 3DS games were all really easy. Blah, blah, blah. And, okay, so admittedly, with the experience share, that is true. Also, Auras. I fully agree about Auras being extremely easy, mainly because the power creep between Gen 3 and Gen 6 was huge, and the original Gen 3 the original Ruby and Sapphire Gym Leader teams were not designed to handle the kind of moves that Pokemon got access to in Gen 6. Gen 3's main story was kind of balanced around most Pokemon having really bad move pools and not getting a lot of good stuff. And so once Pokemon start getting really, really strong moves just naturally, like Boom Burst and Play Rough, the game kind of crumbles pretty easily. On top of that, you also have the experience share. But I mean, even if you don't use the experience share, Auras is pretty easy. But the thing with X and Y, like, this is kind of what does bother me, is that, I mean, as much as, okay, I've admitted many times, I don't like X and Y very much personally, but I will say that I don't like it when people consider them to be really, really easy games. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, they're so easy, like, they're just really effortlessly easy. The thing is, also nice, full-time super effective Giga Drain there. The thing is that if you don't use the experience share, X and Y, from what I've seen, are actually some of the hardest games in the series to Nuzlocke, at least if Marrowland's Nuzlockes are any indication. And it's... okay, so I guess we are finding out what Nature Power does in some of the arenas, so it turns into Hydro Pump here. Hydro Pump looks a little bit low res in this game, and that was a crit, wow. But, oh, the battle with the amazing music isn't lasting very long, that's kind of sad. But anyway, so yeah, on difficulty again. The thing about X and Y is that the gym leaders, for the most part, apart from sometimes Viola, sometimes Grant, and sometimes Coroner, every other gym leader is really, really easy in that game. And the champion is really easy. A lot of the Elite Four, apart from Seabold, who's just absolutely terrifying if you let him set up Dragon Dance. Like, really, just do not underestimate Seabold. He is an extreme threat. But, so a lot of the major boss fights in X and Y are fairly easy, but the issue is, the basic random trainers are brutal in X and Y, especially Black Belts. A lot of them have Poison Jam to deal with fairies. There's also Brains and Brawn, Frank and Sly, who have slaughtered many Pokemon in Nuzlocke that I've seen. And there are just a lot of random trainers that just have very strong Pokemon, often with very, very good moves. Especially Victory Road. Like, Victory Road is brutal in X and Y. You've got Pokemon that had egg moves there. Ladybug on a final champion team, and this is the 4th round, really. So yeah, like I said, Phenac Stadium is pretty easy overall, but anyway, just kind of showing this regardless. So, I don't know, but here's the main reason why I kind of take issues with people saying that, oh, the Pokemon games keep getting easier. Pokemon has always been easy. If you knew the right things to do in earlier generations, they were incredibly easy. Generation 1, X accuracy 1 at KO moves, completely obliterates any semblance of difficulty in the game. You can also abuse the way that the AI treats super effective moves to reduce things like Lance's Dragonite to doing nothing if you send out a Poison type. Because they'll keep spamming Barrier and Agility because they're Psychic moves, thinking that they're super effective. And Gold and Silver, I always found, yeah, Gold and Silver were always really easy. The levels on everyone were just really low. I mean, even Whitney's Miltank. So many people remember Whitney's Miltank with horror. The thing is, there's a Marchop you can trade for in that city. And that renders that fight pretty easy. Ghastly, back in the original Vanilla Gen 3, before Scrappy, also makes that fight pretty easy. Although you need to watch out for rollout. Onyx or Geodude also completely wreck Whitney. So, if you know the right things, I think this is why. I think the main reason why people think that Pokemon has kept getting easier is that they've grown up and got older and got smarter. Pokemon games have always been designed for children to be able to beat. And because of that, the games that we played back when we were children, we were so young that they came off as difficult for us because we didn't really know all these strategies you could use and things like that. The later games now, they're still designed to the point where children can beat them, and so people who've grown up with the series and are now adults are playing them and realizing just all of the smarter tactics you can use, and completely demolishing the game and realizing, oh, hey, these games are really easy. Why do I remember them being so hard? It's because you were a lot younger back then. Now, admittedly, I do understand that the experience share is broken. There are a lot of broken things in later generations that you can abuse, but the earlier gens had exactly the same amount of really broken stuff that you could abuse if you found it. Like I said, X accuracy 1 KO moves in Gen 1, or Wrap if you were faster. You could prevent the opponents from ever doing anything to you. Thing is, though, on the subject of difficulty, Colosseum actually does, well, at least some people think that it has a fair amount of challenge to it. And that's why it tends to be popular to this day, in that the older Pokemon fans are going back to this game and XD, mainly, well, actually both of them in a way, but, and also appreciating just the darker nuances to the story that they didn't get when they were younger. Also, we're getting a lot of money out of this, so with that we get TM22. But anyway, that's going to end my rant on difficulty in Pokemon games. But anyway, this one is Solar Beam, which actually might not be a bad move for Jumpluff either later in the game, but now I don't really have any Sunny Day users apart from, You know, you might have noticed something. Those stretches of stadium battles went much more smoothly. Guess who I didn't use for those? I'm so sorry, Slugma. I know I feel bad for just bashing Slugma constantly, but, yeah, it's really not all that good in this game. Okay, past me finally decided to come back from making a sandwich, I guess. I spent a long time on that menu screen, I really don't know why. There's one more thing that I want to... Well, actually, two more things, but they're both in the same location, so really one more thing that I want to do before I end this, kind of, intermission episode. And that's going to be at the Outskirt stand. For some reason I thought that maybe I needed to heal or something? We've got quite a lot of money at this point, but unfortunately there's not that much to spend it on yet. There is actually something major that I do want to spend this money on, which you'll be seeing in a moment. If you're done staring at the P-Star DA past me, we can continue. So, we need to go to the Outskirt stand. While we're here, there's one optional thing that I want to show off, and also something else that, well, I kind of need to show off too. So, Willy is here. And he's ready for a rematch, so might as well show this. Mainly for the awesome music, and for the fact that Willy actually can be rematched pretty regularly. In this grinding rampage, no one survived. Not even Willy! I still can't find the actual clip from that. I always felt like that clip from that Simpsons episode should have been on YouTube somewhere, but I can't find it. It's always one that I just found kind of silly, but basically it's from a bit where there's this random line where he talks about a cave-in in the mines where no one survived, not even Willy! Which, for those who aren't aware, is himself, so that makes no sense. Anyway, Rider Willy has Linoons now, which you could probably see coming. He's still got some Zigzagoons, though. Unfortunately, that one just took a crit. He's not really going to change his lineup all that much. It's pretty much just going to be entirely Zigzagoons and Linoons for pretty much ever. Oh, that's kind of cool, how it immediately just cut back to there, and we saw Linoon doing its returning to its place animation from a distance. Oh, no more running through his legs, though. That's kind of a shame. Well, that would have been super effective if it had hit, but it probably wouldn't have done much, because Pin Missile is a pretty bad move on anything not named Mega Heracross, which actually uses it to pretty devastating effect, but on anyone else, it's not that good of a move. Especially since the game loves giving it to Pokemon that are primarily special attackers like Jolteon. Anyway, well, at least he's saying he doesn't need seasoning this time. That was always a very weird line. And his quote there is exactly the same. But if we go here, this is the one place in the world that sells Pokeballs, and they've actually improved their stock since last time, and it's a really, really good idea to buy some of the stuff here, because now we have Timer Balls, Net Balls, and Nest Balls. Nest Balls aren't really that useful in this game. They work on Pokemon that are weaker, like lower in terms of level than the one that you currently have out. Actually, I'm not sure how that works in double battles. Okay, gonna stop the video right there just to give a quick PSA about Nest Balls. Don't buy them in this game. I was wrong about them working based off of the level difference between your Pokemon and the targets. That's level balls from the second generation. Nest Balls work according to the formula that I'm showing now, but in layman's terms, the only time they're better than an Ultra Ball is against Pokemon that are level 19 or below. You never have to catch any Pokemon below level 20 in this game. Also, for anything level 30 and above, which is 99% of all Shadow Pokemon in this game, they're the equivalent of a normal Pokeball. For 5 times the price. So, yeah, don't buy Nest Balls. They're bad. Very bad. Anyway, Timer Balls, though. Timer Balls are actually really good. They're also selling Ultra Balls. Might want to buy a few of those. Net Balls have a 3 times catch multiplier, so better than an Ultra Ball, against Water and Bug-type Pokemon. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but we're really going to want some Net Balls for something in the future, but that's not yet. For now, I'm going to want a lot of Timer Balls. Timer Balls get stronger the more turns have passed in battle. The problem is that in this generation, the multiplier on Timer Balls was not that big. In later gens, they'd reach the maximum multiplier in only about 10 turns. Here, they need around 40 turns or so in order to reach their maximum potential, which is really, really long. Most battles are not going to take that long. So, for the most part, you'll want a lot of Ultra Balls, because they tend to be, well, the best thing in normal circumstances. There is a criminal syndicate that is seeking world domination. That's a pretty funny thing to report, though. That's pretty much constantly true in the Pokemon games. Oh, that's actually really cool. The trainers here are changing their dialogue. Well, we don't know if these people are actually trainers. Okay, wow. I probably should have been making a count of the number of females who flirted with Wes at this point. It's at least 3, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, with that is pretty much all I wanted to do here. I just want to stress that you definitely want to buy a lot of Pokeballs before going to the next area, because we've got a Shadow Pokemon Snag that has the lowest catch rate we've seen by far, and so we're going to need a lot of Pokeballs, a lot of them. I was specifically avoiding saying a certain thing so as to not make that line an innuendo, which is very easy to do when you're talking about various types of Pokeballs in these games, or are a juggler trainer. But anyway, this is going to end these intermission episodes. Next time, we're actually going to be heading out to Mount Battle for our next story point. And I think I'm going to put in another Shadow Pokemon. Probably should have put in Hitmontop for Intimidate. We'll see. And we all know who's getting kicked out of the party. I'm so sorry, Slugma. Oh, I feel really, really bad, but yeah. For now, let's see. I've got a Sleep User. And in fact, having a Flying... Well, both of the Sleep Users I have access to at this point are Flying types, so that's a moot point. But yeah, a Flying type Sleep User is definitely good to have going into this next fight. Yeah, I probably should be using Hitmontop. Oh yay, Sudowoodo has regained block. That's a very useful move in main story battles. Very useful. Guess I put Sudowoodo in. So most of our levels are doing okay. We've gained a few of them since the last part. Always good to do a little bit of gradual training like this. So next time we'll be actually continuing the main story. See you then.